Max, listen to me. I wasn't ever a part of it.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not lying.
So you know what? Do lie to me, because you've been doing it all week. You may as well just stay consistent.
I've never lied to you.
The scene between Lenny and Max, you guys were there, obviously, was very different than any other scene that we filmed. And I don't just mean on paper, I don't mean thematically, although that's true. But for me, I was falling apart.
Day one of shooting, we were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and so excited, and we had been rained out of the hell of it, so it was already plan B. So like that day turned into plan C, D, E, F. Like it had already devolved so much from what we had expected. But we were shooting Never Have I Ever, which is such a fun, upbeat scene. It has a little bit of tension with Savannah, but mostly it's just this ensemble, silly moment.
Never have I ever liked a guy who's kind of like my brother, but then like I started to like feel different about him, and like low-key, I was kind of into him.
Oh, my fingers are still up, my guy.
Good try, kid. Good try.
And we broke for lunch, and I was really used to eating with Alan and Kaylee, and I was like, where is Alan? And the response was just pretty chill, like, oh, he's in his trailer, he's just taking a second, especially from Chaselyn, Alan's assistant. So I'm trying to read her and very confused as to what's going on, because she's a fortress, you know, she's not saying anything, and I'm just worried, just like calmly worried.
You know, on day one, we're all excited. It's day one. We've been doing this thing for years. And 3 hours into day one, the thing you never want to see when you look down at your phone and your significant other's called you 17 times. And you're like, this is not good. So you step away, you have that conversation, and I go to my partner in crime in this project on the page thus far, but also a really talented director in her own right. Say, Kaylee, I gotta call my wife back. She's called 17 times. Here's the monitor. I don't know when I'll be back, but do the thing.
My perspective of that day was like, you know, you're so excited, like you were saying, everything. And I've never just been a writer on anything. And so I was like, this is great. Like, I just want to like sit at monitor and like watch and like make sure everything's going good and like float in and out. And then, you know, somebody ran into where the monitor room was and was like, you need to be on set right this second. I was like, oh my gosh, a writing emergency. And then and so I like grabbed my laptop.
Your tools.
I grabbed my little bag and go to set, and Alan just hands me the monitor and like was like, Brycey called me 17 times. You're up. And I was like, okay, great. Well, I didn't prep or shot list or anything. And everything kind of ran super smoothly for the next, I think, like 10 minutes before we broke for lunch. And then, you know, we broke for lunch, Alan told me what happened, and then kind of left and went to his trailer and did his thing.
I've never felt whatever this is before. So we just found out we lost a baby. It was a girl. I love you, baby girl. It's day one. And I gotta just do the only thing I can do is just to keep going.
We had a conversation right after that because you actually finished the day out, which I was just like, how on earth did you do that? Like that, the strength of being able to be like, we're gonna do this and then I'm gonna grieve. Being able to hold both of those things, I was just in awe. Like how?
I have a little bit of an outside perspective because I wasn't there that day. So one of the things that happened from that is that it really showed that this project, what you were doing, what we were doing, what we were involved with, was bigger than just us. At the end of the day, it really was about family. And so much of this show really is about family. I came on late and, in classic Lee Allen fashion, put my foot in my mouth and then went to my trailer and beat myself up about it. But I had said to Alan when I got the job, is I said, only one thing left out of my contract. I'll only do this if you let me hold and snuggle your baby. I just love babies. I love babies. So we were on set and I didn't know anything. And so it was probably days later. And I said, don't forget, I only signed this contract because I get to hold your baby. And Alan looked at me and something that I saw in him, it was like he disappeared for a second and then came back. And you were actually so gracious, but I felt something terrible had gone wrong. So I went to my trailer and I looked up Bryce's page and I saw a picture of you holding Hazel May. And, my heart just wept. It just wept. And then, again, it just highlighted that this is something bigger than us and that the importance of family and the importance of this connection that we all make together and that we get to walk this road together. And we never even talked about it again until after the show had wrapped and I called him one day and just said, hey, I'm an idiot. So thank you for being so gracious with me when I just didn't know any better.
Of course. Today is for her. Today's for her.
I mean, you sound crazy. Because it's really just one of two things. Either God is a fraud and he can't change anything, or two, and worse, he can change it and he just won't.
I always knew that filming episode 6 was going to be tough because we wrote, you know, like these were words that meant a lot to me and I struggled with. But something just happened, I think really during the rehearsal, where when I heard Max saying these words, they were my words. And it was coming through the screen, and I think as the holder of the story, I felt like I was asking God the questions about what happened to my wife and I a few weeks earlier when you were saying.
And what's really sad to me is that you believe he could come in and do something, but he chooses not to. Where is he? Where is God?
I just lost it. I couldn't hold it together, and we've all been there, you know. The clock keeps going, people are filming, we have to do the thing. And I certainly wasn't gonna hand this off to anybody else. This was something I was gonna do. But I just remember like sobbing behind the monitor, both in rehearsal and while we were filming, and they're just coming over and like trying to find in between breaths a note, if that's even a thing, like try it, matter, or whatever it was.
That's exactly what it was like 2-word notes.
That day, obviously, as we had already talked about, that day was a bit tense and intense between us, first of all. Then on top of that, you know, we had our moments, and in between each take, it was still kind of a tense atmosphere just because we wanted to stay in that moment as much as we could. And I think it was probably about a quarter of the way through filming that scene that I was starting to feel an energy from Alan where it, you know, at first I thought it was more just because, like, you know, he had written this scene, he really does relate to Max, and like what is being said is really hitting him right now. And I didn't know why necessarily, but it started to get a little bit more tense, and that's okay. I mean, now knowing what was going on, I was just like, oh no, am I doing okay? When he was coming over and kind of giving those shorter notes, I was like, okay, I just want to it actually kind of helped me get more there, because I was like, oh no, I'm upsetting him now. Like I'm not doing it right, and now I'm like actually upsetting myself. And it pushed me to even get further with it, and I'm actually really grateful for just the energy on set that day. I think it was like so integral for the scene to go.
Do you remember any, like whatever the 2 or 3 word things were?
I mean, for me, it was like, show it more. Which is a little hard to work with. To me, what that meant was like, don't let her walls be up. Like, let him actually penetrate the fortress and actually break in and hurt her. I have such a different experience of that day from Antonio, because I knew so much more about what was going on.
Yeah.
And so fast forwarding to that moment of shooting with Alan, it's like we all got out our anger over what had happened and what a deep heartbreak that is for our friend, like in that one moment. To me, what was interesting is in the way that you felt like he's not happy with it, I've got to do better. I felt like, uh-oh, we're getting somewhere. Like we are doing it right, because Alan is feeling the real emotion of it. So I felt very grounded by your reaction and very like, okay, this is very difficult, but we are doing it justice.
That was, for me as an artist, I've never felt this feeling of like, I'm speaking through this thing that we're doing. The reason I think, for me, that episode 6 is so meaningful now is because what happened to me in that moment is I became Max. I do remember the feeling, I don't remember what I would have said, but I do remember the feeling of kind of seeing early takes, like Antonio call it being nice. And I need Max destroying Lenny, because really you're talking to God. It's just kind of through Lenny, and I would really like to talk to God right now through you. And I'm more angry than you're being about this thing, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I became Max in that moment. So by the end of the episode, if I don't feel like whatever has happened to Max, whether it be through your performance or through other people telling you stuff, if I don't feel like I understand why at the end of this episode he would nod and take that one step, then I don't buy it. Because I felt so connected to what you were saying when we were filming that scene that it felt like substitution in a way.
And I'm gonna attempt to, because I wasn't there that day, so like there was this very like kind of zoomed out macro thing that was happening. It's just like this life gives you lemons and God makes lemonade, and then there you are. It's like, oh yeah, day 1 of this thing I've been working on that is kind of for God's people and to tell this story, and like this bomb drops. God, couldn't you have scheduled that a little better? But the lemonade that was made out of that is how much it informed what we did. And like there's a version of that I don't think is very smart, but just like, no, God's trying to help you make a good movie by putting you through that and having it like, no. Right. There's something else going on that's much more difficult to understand, which is the making lemonade out of all the bad things that happened. Because we wouldn't have free will without the opportunity for things to just go drastically wrong. The reason why it's faith affirming for me is that it's a big deal to me to see like, God, man, bad things can happen. And then if you stay steadfast and faithful to what you're doing, do your best and give a 2-word, direction and be there, but then also be there for your wife and like hand it over to a very capable partner, like that it can all work out for the best.
That's why the mystery of it, I think, was really important to me. Like in the scene with Max and Jeremy specifically, because again, having connected to Max and like put myself on that journey, when you're doing that scene with Jeremy on the dock, and you're asking these very relevant, meaningful, important, honest questions, for Jeremy just to go like, dude, I don't know why God didn't help me. I really don't. I still get angry when I think about it from time to time. I'll tell you this, when I'm face to face with the big man, that's gonna be one of the first questions that I ask him. All I can offer is that I made this decision in spite of the questions that I have, and it was the best decision I ever made. and I want for you what I have. That's the only thing that moved me. Because we had other versions of that scene and other things we wanted to say, and for good or bad. Like, I'm not saying I made the right decision, but I did make a personal decision. In that, that's the only thing that Jeremy could say that for me, I was like, okay, I can resonate with that. Somebody who cares about you, saying, I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. I don't know why that happened on day one. I don't know why it happened at all. But in spite of that, and in spite of my own versions of that, Jeremy's saying, I made a decision to trust him anyway. And I know that was a great decision. And I believe, since it was a great decision for me, it'd be a great decision for you.
Max, you do know that there's nothing I can say that will just magically convince you or explain what you've gone through. That's not how it works. And I get it. I get why you would want to, stick with what you know. But you got to ask yourself, how far has that gotten you? See, for me, despite everything I've been through, I decided to just trust God and try something new. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my life.
And I can see Max now taking that 0.1% step without knowing for sure. Because I sit here now going like, really? Like, there's no other way that this could have happened?
Right.
Where we could have made a good show, and episode 6 would be what it is. I believe wholeheartedly episode 6 and the show for that matter, because you guys don't know this, but when I went in the trailer, I filmed myself and I dedicated the show to Hazel May. It was the whole thing.
This whole series is for her. Her name was gonna be Hazel. Hazel May. Her name is Hazel May.
Guys, I'm stoked. Starting Wednesday, December the 10th, we're going to put every episode of the docuseries on YouTube. What's the docuseries? Great question. It takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of overcoming what feel like insurmountable problems to be able to make a series like this in the amount of time that we had to make it. Fortunately, we were rolling cameras the whole time, so we put all that footage together and we are telling the story of how we made the series. It's its own standalone series. It's called A Week Away, the docu-series, and we hope that you enjoy it. I know I would really like it as a filmmaker, and it's interesting to me. Maybe it's interesting to you. So if you love the series, I think you'll enjoy seeing how we brought it together. If you love just watching how creativity happens, I think you'll enjoy watching the docu-series as well. And starting on Wednesday, December the 10th, we're putting that on YouTube, 1 episode a week. Watch it there, like, comment, subscribe, because we're gonna have more episodes coming every week. Tell all your family, tell all your friends, tell the strangers on the street, watch it 17,000 times yourself. You understand, you get it, you know the assignment. All right, well, I'll see you guys over there. Peace.